What you made me forget to do.
Me.
Oh man.
Yes. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever we are here. I tell you, I
What
don't
a
know.
day! What a day!
Oh, it has been.
And
This is
ain't no day for no daydream either.
no, there has not been a dream about this one,
Mm-mm.
but it is moving on, and we are doing it in,
Living Colors.
yeah, exactly.
Remember that good show, Living Colors?
Oh, it was
Man, it
great
was way ahead of its
in
time,
in
wasn't it?
living color. Yeah, that
And
was.
remember, we were down in Hollywood Beach, and we saw the casino they were building with the big guitar. It looks like a
Yeah.
guitar, and that the Winding Brothers of Living Colors were coming there to
Yeah,
kind of do their
one of
thing.
the Wayans was coming.
It was
Yeah,
more than one of them. It was like the whole crew was coming there. One of the
that's
nights
right.
they were
That's
coming on one of the
right.
nights to do a
Yes.
show. We couldn't stay around to see it, but they were traveling around doing the shows. It was back before COVID. It was COVID going on.
Yeah, and that was. I love that show. That was one of the shows that
Mm-hmm.
I was still caught up in the thing of the black people on TV. So
Yeah,
everybody's got to
it was
watch it.
good.
So I would allow my children to watch that one just because
Mm-hmm.
it was it
It was
was
good. It
it
was
was
good.
very good. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So who
today
are we? What are we about?
we are. I don't know, who are you? No,
No,
you
I
are.
don't know who
You
I am
are
today either. So
Imar
okay.
or Craig,
Mm-hmm.
and I am Zare or Sharon,
Mm-hmm.
and we are taking the journey together. We have been on this journey together for almost 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
but we have been on the journey of us for about 13, almost 14 years.
13, 14 years.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. And
Wow.
so,
Do we have any kids?
yes,
We do.
just
We have
not
kids.
together.
Oh, not to get.
Not
Well, yeah,
together.
we got a lot of spiritual kids in this
Yes,
town
we
that we
do.
have actually
We
supported
we
and
we have
uplift and chastise. And,
exactly. We have children of our own, and we
mm-hmm.
have children that we have grafted into
Mm-hmm.
our um our family.
A life, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as I've got bunches at school. We've got bunches here,
Mm-hmm.
out in around in the places we go within our organizations
Mm-hmm.
and everything. Um, yeah, it's really um it's good to have these young people that connect with us like that.
I would say so too.
Yes.
Definitely, definitely. There are bunches and bunches of bunches.
Yes. And by the way, you don't know this, but
Mm-hmm.
one of our uh, grafted granddaughters
Mm-hmm.
today did something. And just a little bit ago on the phone, she said,
Mm-hmm.
she asked me if I told you about it yet.
Mm-mm.
And since I
Okay.
hadn't had the time, but I just want to say to you,
Mm-hmm.
she's all excited about you finding out about it.
Okay. Are you
Um,
supposed to tell me?
well, I got to show you
Oh,
actually,
okay.
actually. So,
Okay.
But anyway, it's a good thing.
Well,
But
good.
and those are the things that you enjoy when you're on this journey, and it's
Hmm.
even better when you get to share it with somebody. And that's why I love sharing it with you.
All
So
right. All right. So
as
make sure you share. Share with friends, share with enemies, share with anybody that you know of, and get to know some good information that we'll be
yeah,
talking about today. We got some also good commercials we're going to come up with and let people know about, right?
absolutely. And as we have just passed Valentine's Day, happy
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day should be every day.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you got to pick and choose, that's one that you can always fall back on.
When was Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day
Yesterday,
was,
wasn't it?
no, it was Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. What did we do Valentine's Day? Just like a typical guy, just kind of forgot for a second. Been so wrapped up in the things. But didn't we do something special for ourselves on this day? I wasn't feeling the best. I'm still not feeling the best, to
Exactly.
be honest with you. But
You weren't, and we
mm-hmm.
ended up in a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were in that grocery store, we were about to check out, and which I thought was very romantic.
Mm-hmm.
You picked up a vase of flowers, and we took a picture with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, "This is our Valentines to each other." And I thought that was very, very nice and romantic.
Did that right in the store too.
Right in the
It
store,
just popped in my mind.
right at the checkout.
I know. Yeah.
Yes,
But it was kind of looking like, what are you guys doing? With smiles on their
I
face.
know, I know.
Hmm. But they were smart enough to put flowers just right when you walk out.
Yeah,
So
for that person
so
that
guys
forgets.
like that, you couldn't forget. It was like right there.
Over the candy,
Exactly.
you
So
know.
you couldn't miss it from that end.
And then later
Mm-hmm.
on, we had late that night, we
Mm-hmm.
had a very impromptu um, dance on our kitchen dance floor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was. I guess I was trying to test out the new speakers that we're going to be using, hopefully someday in the
yeah.
community, and play some good romantic songs. That's going to be keyed up for our event we'll be talking about this
Hmm.
weekend.
Yes.
Well, we'll be
Well,
talking about it's going to be on the 24th actually
yes.
about relationships.
The
So I
end of the
was
month.
gearing up the equipment for it, and we were
Mhm.
playing some of the music, very beautiful, romantic music that we're
It
going to be playing,
was. It was
and we do
inspired me to
exactly
get
move and flow.
move. Yeah, exactly, to move and flow.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
you came and you started moving and
Oh yeah.
flowing, and we moved and flowed
Yeah.
together, and
Oh, yeah. I
it
never been
was
much of a dancer,
nice.
but when it comes to slow dancing, that's always been my thing from that end.
Yeah,
And you just went right along with it. I was late that night
it was
because
late. It
about
was
up to 1
barely.
o'clock in the morning. We
Not quite,
had
but
a kitchen pass. Mom
exactly.
let us stay up that late.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we were in the kitchen. So
Oh man.
yeah. So anyway, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. So
So
so that's one of those things that you do. Like last few weeks ago, we were talking about being out doing things outside the box,
mm-hmm.
and so that was one of those out of the box things. We got out of the box, and it turned out to be a very interesting evening.
It was.
Yes,
And we can't discuss with the young folks what happened after that evening,
exactly,
after the dance. Went out
exactly.
and took her to breakfast. Anyway,
Yes, you did.
mhm. What is Valentine's Day if it's not another time where people are looking at to exchange energy when it
I
comes to
love that segue.
doing sexual encounters?
Yes.
What a good way. In fact, Valentine's Day is all about the Cupid thing, all about
Mm-hmm.
trying to move people into that frame of mind, that
Yeah.
mode of mind, and I guess for some people in relationships, that's probably about the only mode, a time that they use that as a place to celebrate that.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime else is like, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
from that
It's
end.
like,
But so we
okay,
exchange.
here comes Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm,
Let me get the card. Let me get the candy. Let me get
mm-hmm.
the flowers.
Get it done
Let
and
me
over
do
with.
dinner, and see what I can get out of it, and then we're good until birthday,
Yeah,
until the
exactly.
next
Till next
holiday,
time,
or
next holiday.
yeah.
One thing's for sure, the flower shop should make a lot of money that day. I mean, they
Oh
gear up
yeah.
big time
Oh yeah.
just for that occasion
Yeah.
to get those flowers out. So and during a perfect time that our life energy, that's what it really is, life energy, a
Mhm.
life force to be another word,
Yes.
is actually exchanged during that time. We talked about how during intercourse and during the bumping and a grinding, young folks say smashing.
Yeah,
That's what they say.
I know.
Wow.
It's so to use
Uh,
that word, it sounds so loving.
I know.
I'm like,
Okay.
can we say this in a nicer way?
So during that time, when we think we think about that sexual relationship, we think it's purely we talked about before, psychological,
Hmm.
purely mechanical. We don't think
Yes.
about the energy of the life force that's actually being exchanged from one another. And I think between one another, I think many times there's a missing of that intimacy
Hmm.
that's involved, and to me, it's mostly just a sexual contact.
Right.
And of course, it can go as far as in the world of the sex game and the sex world, especially where there's a lot of sex workers in it. We call them prostitute, oldest, career, or oldest business
Yes.
in the world, as they say. And
They're
mhm,
not prostitutes anymore. They're
mhm,
independent contractors.
well, that too. But I knew some in my time. Personally, some of you out there don't say anything because you knew some in your time. Some of the relatives of some of ours.
Yes.
And I had a chance to talk with them and get a chance to really get to know them when it comes to relationship wise. And many of them talk about how in their relationship times, some have been, of course, strippers, and they talk about the
I am so
relationships.
sorry. I don't know, something is in my throat here, but
Well,
I'm good.
it's
I'm
a
good.
subject that can be uncomfortable. Maybe
No, it's just I swallowed and it
you
did not.
swallowed a fly.
I did.
Okay, I don't know why
I
you
don't
swallowed the
either,
fly,
but I think it's gonna
but I
die.
think it's. But anyway,
I'm sorry.
I was saying that they talk about the relationships with the men that they encounter, whether it's um, in the clubs or is their personal johns. Johns, of course, most of you guys know what they are, what that means. That many of them basically look at the johns of the men as just being another object that basically is paying them
A means to the
financial,
end.
exactly.
Yeah.
And many other johns that they deal with look at them as being objects,
Mhm.
and they become just that, but they
Right.
don't even know that they're objects to
Right.
them.
Right.
And they talk about how the the trick, and they do call the johns tricks, but the tricks that they have to do, or the different acts, the different movements, the different positions they have to do, they always have to move and have to express themselves, talking about energy exchange in such a way as if they really are receiving the other person's energy, and that's actually moving them in a way that's affecting them. And the ones who've been doing it for a while say you got to be a good actor because to them doing that exchange, sexual exchange, they really don't necessarily receive anything from that other man when it comes to life force energy. They're just
Mhm.
another object. They're just another person that's paying them.
Yeah.
And so they really have no intimate feelings. They have no real connected feelings. They just have to be very good at acting as if they do.
Mhm.
So their client or their trick can get his ego or her ego fulfilled and say, it was worth my money
Yeah.
in this fact, in that particular time. And of course, what do you think about that before we move on in our subject of exchanging
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say,
life force like
under
that?
the circumstances, that
Mm-hmm.
is not uh, a building type of
Mm-mm.
relationship or anything like that. So why would you want any energy from that person? Why
Mm-hmm.
would you want to share your energy with that person? But that's not even that much of a far cry from people who would, who are just casually dating and, get into the same situation. They're not getting money for it or anything like that. But it's just like, you know, random sexual activity.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to share your energy in a situation like that? But you do, because at least they are, um, they're prepared for it. So they have that, whatever, mental emotional block that they have
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
already in place. But when you're involved in casual sex, or this is my boyfriend or my girlfriend, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not necessarily expecting it to last long time,
Mm-hmm.
long term, that is, that's one of those things where you get caught up in, the soul ties and the
Well, I mean, what some people look at it in this area of life force, they're called portals.
yes.
Them are not physical. I'm sorry, no one use physical because we're not trying to send physical route because
Mhm.
there are portals there, but and other places you can plug in,
Literally.
and the thing that plugs in from that
Literally.
end, exactly,
Yes.
literally. But energy wise, they're called portals,
Hmm.
and everybody has portals,
Yes.
which is the ability through your energy as a being to be able to open up portals and close portals. We usually would think about using the word. Are you open minded? Are you closed minded?
Yes.
Well, that's a description of a portal when it comes to connection your thoughts, i.e., your mind. Then you
Hmm.
hear people, do you have an open heart or do you have a closed heart?
Yes.
And that's a portal that has to do with your heart.
Yes. And
It's,
and your feelings and
in the
emotions.
emotions,
Uh-huh.
exactly. And people could be emotionally illiterate. In fact, they have a test on how emotionally literate you are
Yes.
from that particular. But anyway, talking about,
And
go ahead.
and they also speak of that in the sense of emotional bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So the portals that we're able to open up and close when it comes to our life force has everything in what you're doing or what you spoke of that many folks in that profession do. They shut down that portal when it comes to their heart. They shut
Hmm.
down that portal when it comes to that intimacy portion, and they do that purposely so they don't make that connection.
Right.
They don't have a real sharing of their life force and
Hmm.
their energy. It's protected in this case. So the main point on that we're trying to refer to, since we're talking about us, what our subject is right here, is that basically when it comes to energy, everybody's affected when it comes to the essence of energy itself. Everybody is.
Hmm.
Um, a basic life force, what's what we're talking about. We have positive mood, toxic energy, and which surely affects us in different ways. And especially if
Yes.
it's going to affect us in the area of our sexual encounter. In fact, every type of human connection that we have ends up being some kind of energy exchange,
Hmm.
one way or the other.
Hmm.
And our sensitivity being that every relationship does have that impacts us in what we call imprints. What does it imprint on us? I don't
Yeah.
think many times we're very concerned about it. And in that imprint, going back to I was saying, talking to some of those ladies who were in that arena,
Hmm.
um, they have actually said to me that closing down that portal that we just were talking about doing that sexual exchange, it can also and would be also in the same realm of when a woman is raped,
Hmm.
that they will shut down that particular portal in that area.
Hmm.
In fact, they described to me very candidly that there have been many times, in so many words, they get paid. I'm not going to say it the way it should be, but that's what they told me. In all sense, technically, they're many times paid to get raped. I mean,
Wow.
so they've had encounters where they were forcibly got into that act
Yeah.
and they shut down the portal. But then there's times when it's voluntarily because the money's being
Hmm.
paid to them,
Hmm.
but still there's no real connection intimately to them whatsoever because
Yeah.
the portal shut down. So to them, the ones that I did talk to when I have an interface with, to them, that was just a description of telling me this is another description in detail. I'll let you know what sometimes what a woman would go through rape, because I know there's many times questions of where the energy exchange that's happening during rape, does a woman enjoy it? You've heard some people say that,
Yeah.
and they were candidly saying to me, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's
And
that's 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 sometimes that's what Hollywood pushes.
yeah.
That's what some men think, but that's not actually what happens.
Right.
It's no more than what we described in our business, except for we get paid. And sometimes they get roughed up too doing that
Hmm.
particular act. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that is a difficult thing to think about
Mm-hmm.
from where I stand, because I'm looking at, after so many so much time of shutting down like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself in a relationship that does have the potential to grow, how do you turn that switch back on?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Many of them, if you want to use the PTS, what they call it,
PTSD.
there's you probably going to describe that
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
their lives of what they have dealt with, even though the money comes along with it.
Hmm.
I think the money covers up so well, so much. It's not even thought about in detail. But no doubt about it. When they get in a relationship, they have a hard time relating in the
Hmm.
relationship on that particular end, because it's probably very hard to open that portal unless that mate of those them is very sensitive in that matter
Hmm.
and understands that story, and then doesn't treat them like just treat them like just another sex worker,
Yeah.
and that they're more than just that, than just a sex worker, and that they're really a human being in all
Hmm.
aspects of them, especially in the area of closeness, is
Yes.
then addressed. And I think that's easy for them to let the guards down. That's another description of portal being open, your guards, because if you close your
Hmm.
portals off, like in this area, you're
Hmm.
putting your guards up. You're not letting your sensitivity open.
Yeah.
You're not letting your emotions towards that person. You're
Hmm.
not bringing any romance memories being attached to them
Right.
whatsoever,
Right.
which are part of your life force
Hmm.
itself. So you could understand that it would be slowly for you to open up your heart again,
Right.
and bring your guards up. I think in a lot of relationships, when we talk about the thinking outside of the box and the energy being exchanged, I
Hmm.
think a lot of times a lot of energy is being exchanged, especially in survival relationships. And there's really no exchange going on. It could be just one way.
Right.
And I mean, you hear many times that many mates, being women, have many times, and you can confer it to me or not, hardly have any orgasms. I've talked to some women that said for years they've been in relationships or marriage besides dating,
Hmm.
and they haven't had an orgasm for months, sometimes even years.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the guy did from
Yeah.
that particular. I haven't had too many guys. There could be some guys out there who didn't have it, maybe have control or just have a problem from the animal, or just don't. Or it becomes such a just a usual thing, especially at the end of relationship when you're not really feel like doing this in the first place, and it becomes just an automatic, natural habit that comes from
Hmm.
being a male. But I do not know a lot of women, and it's kind of well known out there. A lot of women don't have that exchange when it
Right.
comes to
Right.
orgasm. What's your thought on that?
I know that to definitely be true. I've talked
Mm-hmm.
to um, a lot of women, and um, you know how those of you who know women talk, and they
Mm-hmm.
talk about personal things. Women are very open about their personal situations
Mm-hmm.
when they're talking to one another, and and I have been there too, where it's just like it's the the emotion is not there
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And so it's kind of like um it's kind of like acting out of obligation, because that's what you feel like you're expected to do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially when you're at a point where you're in denial.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's denial as to the status of the relationship.
Yes.
So yeah, that is true, because for one thing, with females, if you're not feeling it emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to feel it, period.
Mm-hmm.
So you will go through the motions, but that's all it is. It's motions without emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So, what are some of the ways to use our expression, and get into the whole mood? Since you brought that up,
Mhm.
one when it comes to um, um, the sexual exchange, the sensitive way, the healthy way, the balanced way, and I'm not talking about well, we usually call the word making love, not just having
Mhm.
sex.
Yes.
Some young folks say we're just gonna smash or have a banger a
All of
relationship
which is
time.
all of which is so unattached.
It is too. It doesn't do well in the long term
Which is
relationship.
one of those reasons why
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those of us who have been there
Mm-hmm.
really should not pick up on young people's terminology,
Mm-hmm.
because it just
But this
it's
describes physically what they think and
yeah,
what they
but
feel,
that's
because there's not much energy exchange going on
exactly.
anyway.
And that's the thing, that is what they are
Mm-hmm.
experiencing. The problem is it's not what they should be experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And a
For a
lot of
balanced
it,
relationship,
yeah,
yeah, or
exactly. And a
fulfilled one,
lot
yeah.
of it is because they're in um, pseudo long-term relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say pseudo long-term relationships, it's because they're in a relationship that has lasted 3 months,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and
exactly.
and they don't even think about, will it last 3 more months, 3 years, 30 years?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, we're in it for the now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in it for the now. Well, what about the then?
It's it always amazed me how you're gonna give me a go to commercial too here real quickly, but it's always amazed me how they come up with the word casual for something that I can understand when you connect it to long term,
Mm-hmm.
but casual is so short term. No real life force being exchanged whatsoever. In fact, that's the last
Mm-hmm.
thing you want to do is really get much involved in feeling that to end up calling someone that you really love, someone that you could love, but someone that you don't. So you don't want to use the word love at all.
Mm-hmm.
Why you would call it casual? I don't think it should be called casual. I'm gonna be upfront.
I
Think it should be called short.
Yeah.
I had a short relationship with a shorty.
Yeah, I don't even know that it should be considered a relationship. It's just
Yeah.
somebody you're getting to know,
Oh, okay.
and you're not even.
Oh, I remember one. You're not gonna like this, but I remember the song "Knocking the Boots."
Oh God, there was a whole period. There was a whole period of time
Uh-huh.
when the references to love and appreciation in
Mm-hmm.
songs set my teeth on edge.
Mm-hmm.
The one that comes to mind, and I don't remember who did it, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
care who did it, was the one that said, "You remind me of my Jeep." I'm sorry,
Yeah, but that
but that
that's just
relation.
you're going off
No,
of
no,
the
no.
subject.
What I'm
That's just a
saying is,
physical thing of the body that he was referring to. We know what it was, R. Kelly, for that
oh, that's
particular.
okay. See,
Yeah, that
I
was R.
I didn't
Kelly.
remember who it
I think it
was.
was him.
I don't know. I
But
hated the song,
but
so I never
but
paid any attention to it.
no doubt about it. The idea of making, especially women, subjective to nothing but objects is there. Though
Yeah,
today the suggestion of men being objects, as you could see, in rapping songs, they're just as much as objects being presented to in
yeah.
their own way. There's no doubt about it. But the act itself of the sexual exchange, um, um, being what you would call in the world we call casual, nothing casual about it. There's nothing deep about it.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing long lasting about it. It's just short, sweet, straight to the point. And so I think some of the words like knocking the boots and the rest of them they were talking about pretty much describe what was going on, of
Yeah,
how they really felt about
yeah.
the situation in that particular act, and demean the value of
Mm-hmm.
exchanging your energy.
Yeah.
And you should have been very concerned about exchanging your energy. Anyway, let's go to our commercial because we want to go to our commercials, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this. Let's see if I can get this thing off of here real quickly. Where is that at? Taking the journey.
As we continue,
Hide that
and we
one,
are
and then this one. Oops, where's it at? Oh,
uh
there it is. Is it there? No, I don't know why.
I
Oh, it's just a name. It'll probably come up when we do what we do over here. So let's go to
there
our
it is.
first overlay, and we'll talk more about it. We're going to be we're going to give our shameless plug on our commercial. Let's go to the first one. And how do we do this? We put the whole thing in here, right here, right? That's the overlay. How do we?
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
the overlay.
That's
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 good
what he
enough.
does. Yes.
Okay, so right now, as you can see, we are putting the overlay that has to
Mm-hmm.
do with our show that's
Our
coming up.
event,
Okay,
our
why don't you tell a
workshop.
bit more about our event, our workshop?
Oh, okay. On February 24th at 7 o'clock, we're having a workshop. It's a date night workshop, and we've got several
Oops.
going on to help you get outside your box and to help you build intimacy and help you just build on your relationship. Do something that may be a little bit different, and it may not be different. It may be something that you do regularly, but this time you will be doing it in a workshop format where we will work with the couples and give them an
What's going to be at?
opportunity to. I'm getting there,
Oh, okay.
and give them the opportunity to see where they are and see where they can grow.
Exactly.
And this event, this workshop will be held at Carrie Hilliard's on Skidaway.
24th,
And
7 o'clock.
yes,
Bring your mate, whether you're married or not. Make sure you
yes,
you come with how can I say it? Your best, closest life energy to want to connect with them there. Yeah, we're going to do some connection
yes.
there, or teach you how to have a better connection. I think you talked about you was going to open up a little dance floor. I think it was. If the music
Yeah.
goes good, they can get a chance to dance. I know what that's all about, but that's what you were talking about. Do have some gifts. I think you got a gift basket we're
We're
giving
gonna
out.
well we're gonna be kind of
Oh, you're gonna.
um
I
it's
get
gonna
left
be
the
kind
cat
of
out of the
like a
bag.
yeah, you did.
Okay.
It's kind of a surprise, but yes, we do have,
Got a good game.
yeah,
We'll be playing
there
there
will be
too.
gifts and games
hmm
and good
You'll enjoy
times.
yourself.
We're gonna there'll be a lot of laughter. There'll be
Good meal.
interaction with different people,
hmm
and we the way we set it up, it is one of those situations where it's a good night out,
Definitely.
where you just it's about you and your partner
Exactly. It's only $50 per what again?
person,
Per person.
or a
It's
hundred
going to be,
dollars a couple.
yeah, it'd be well worth your time. You can
Yes,
see that up there. You can go
which
to our website too. At the same time, I want to
mhm.
move on real quickly if we can get to it.
Well, and one other thing,
Whoops.
that also includes dinner.
Yes, don't forget you do get a dinner out of that, so it doesn't
Yes.
cost you anything for the dinner. Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, no, no, that is the right one, isn't it? Yeah, it
Okay.
is the right one. Right
So
below, you'll
so
get to see the address. What is it at? Is it free ship? That is not it.
no.
Yes, they can. They can still go here, right here, to that
Yeah.
address. Taking the journey to dash together, and you can go ahead and pay for your tickets right through that website address. Can they not? I think they
Yes.
can. Yeah. Okay.
And maybe you can even earn your hot button.
Exactly, because we'll be passing those out for those who come, so you can take that hot button right along with you.
Only if you prove to be honest, open, and transparent.
Okay, now we're moving on to the what's it called, Sharon? The media one?
Our Black media.
Yes, a new magazine that's coming out. It's already out. I think it's called Hello Neighbor.
Hello, Savannah.
Hello Savannah. This is the it looks like I kind of got caught off guard, but that is it looks like the promotional logo, if you may want to say, flyer for our Black media itself. Of
Yes.
course, that's our engineer and also owner and founder Julius also on that. So
Mhm.
you want to stay involved with what we're doing here on this great first time all in this country, well, at least in this area,
Yes.
of a African American owned, and at the same time having African Americans who are actually part of the media as for the host itself. Now let's move on to another commercial. We're doing some commercials. Sharon, you want to talk a little about the Grand African Ball that's going to
Yes.
be going on the 25th, right after ours?
Mhm.
Come
The
to think
day
of it.
after the Gullah Geechee Grand African Ball.
Mhm.
It's a great event. It's at 7 p.m. I cannot see where that is going
It's
to be
supposed to
located.
be at a the Civil Rights Museum that they have
Okay.
off of Martin Luther
Oh,
King,
that's right.
and it's right behind it. Remember that ball area we've
Yes,
been in
yes,
before?
yes,
It's
yes.
right behind it, or attached to it to be exactly.
Yes.
That's where it's going to be. Do we know this young man who's a king of village
Oyatunji.
Oyatunji? Do we know
Yes.
him?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we have visited that village many a times
Yes.
and had many good conversations with that young brother. Very deep young brother.
Very
Uh,
open
exactly.
and receiving
Yeah, yeah. Well, good brother. Hopefully, we're going to be there, get a chance to meet him
again.
again and his people again at this great event. You get to wear if you got African wares, dashikis, and the rest of them that have been in the closet, especially during this turbulent times of don't say black, don't talk about your history and your background. Well, this is a chance where you can come out and wear your stuff, wear your
And
thing,
be
get it out of the
you.
closet,
Come out
and
and
get
be
to enjoy
you.
yourself. I think it's $50 too, and there's different increments too that you can pay for on the different kinds of stuff that you get along with your packages. But I think the minimum one is $50. Again, it's on the 25th.
25th.
Starts at 7 p.m. and that's going to be this month. Let's go on to another one that we're going to do. City of Fort Worth is
Fort
having
Wentworth.
Fort Worth is having Black History Month. And it's going to be what this weekend. Come to think of it,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
You're going to have African
From 10 to
drummers.
3.
Yeah, look at history. You're having music out there. It's going to be
Yes.
lovely. Be out of town during that time because we got some family members we got to see up in Tennessee. But hopefully we'll keep our spirit there, and we hope that people will enjoy themselves while they're there at the same time. Hopefully the weather will be bad. It would not be bad. The weather would be good and
Yeah.
not rainy. Yeah.
It's supposed to be good this weekend.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. One more. Look at this. What's this?
This is Black History Month celebration that is going to be in Richmond Hill this
Tomorrow.
weekend. It is absolutely
Not
tomorrow
this weekend,
night.
tomorrow, Friday.
That's this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Look at
tomorrow.
Friday be the end of the week, but okay.
Weekend. End of the week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You say tomatoes, I say tomatoes. You don't like them, but I like it.
Exactly. So they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, Dr. Jamal Toure will be the speaker and presenting all kinds of wonderful information about Black history and the Gullah Geechee culture, as well as how it connects in the Richmond Hill area.
In Richmond Hill.
And we're looking forward to that, especially when you take into consideration.
It's Richmond Hill.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
There's a great Gullah Geechee community and history there that I'm pretty sure he'll be presenting in that area. In the area we actually live in.
Yes.
And it's in Richmond Hill. We did the first 2019 Martin Luther King a parade and picnic there in Richmond.
No.
So,
park event.
Yeah. It was a parade and a park event.
Yes.
What did I say?
Picnic.
Oh no, it was a park event. It was a big one. Come to think of it.
Yeah.
So we're quite proud of what we did, and they still continue to do that today. So
Yes.
please come out and enjoy yourself. We're just taking donations to at the same time. We'll have food. There, snack food to be exact, but you're really going to enjoy yourself. You're really be moved. If you've heard Brother Jamal speak before, especially when there's African spirit in his storytelling that he has, it's always amazing, definitely amazing. So please come out to enjoy yourself. We can take as many as we can to fit in that space. It's going to be at the Richmond Hill Chamber of Commerce. We're taking a look at it today, getting the room all set up for it and all that other good stuff.
And trying to catch the address. The address is 2591 US Highway 17. That's one more time. 2591 US Highway 17.
All right.
So
what is this?
I don't know.
Oh, this is the back of Our Black Media's flyer that he's going to be pulling out and showing at the Port Windsworth. I think we got a table set up on Port Windsworth. So make sure you go past the media table for All Black Media, and that's just the schedule of the shows up there. Look at our shows up to 6 p.m. and you got quite a few different shows that are from Monday through Tuesday through Sunday. You can also get it on the Roku TV too at the same time if you want to pull it up. There is the picture of a hot button that you'll get if you come to our particular show. Am I right?
That is correct.
That's exactly what it looks like. How's that?
Okay. That's great. And now
that is it.
And now
there was a commercial that they had one time, but it's not there. I don't know what's that.
We'll get it later.
We'll get it later? Okay.
Yeah, we'll get it later.
Okay.
Because we need to talk about ways to express your sexual energy.
What are some ways to actually express our sexual or our life? I just want to use it as it should be, to express our life force.
Yes.
Then you take it more seriously. Then you look at your life force as it should be. It's something sacred that you have. God has given to you, or God's given to you, that you have to be able to share with some other being, some other particular person. What are some ways to do that?
That is just real quick. That is a better way to look at it, because there's so many stigmas and limitations and expectations
Mm-hmm.
associated with the word sex,
Mm-hmm.
that you get caught up in this has to be this way and this has to be that way, or there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about the life force and exchanging your life force,
Mm-hmm.
then that puts more value onto it. Just that terminology alone uh, sets up the premise that this is to be valued because life is to be valued.
And I'm valued
Exactly.
because I'm that life.
Right.
So here's one thing that we suggest to you as a balanced way to have yourself prepared and give recognition to yourself, in that respect to yourself, in the area of cherishing yourself, or some people say loving yourself. We're not talking about loving yourself in a self-centered way. We're talking about loving yourself in a sacred way.
Hmm.
Okay, and the difference between the self-centered way and the sacred way is the self-centered way is mostly thinking about you from a physical point of view, and
Yes.
not you, from who you are. That's beyond just a physical point of
Right.
view. Your characteristics, and your integrity, belief systems.
Hmm.
Um, uh, those are all made up of who you are, including your emotions. They're all
Yes.
made up of who you are. And you're all about trying to know more of that and connect to more of it. Some people trying to find out the ghost in the machine, the spirit in the
Hmm.
machine, which is who your life force is. And that's the sacred way of finding out, who am I?
Yes.
What is my purpose here? What am I to be doing here?
Yes.
The self-centered way doesn't really care about that, from
Hmm.
that end. So one of the things that you can start doing is think about meditating, be having meditative thoughts about your sexual energy. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Have meditative thoughts about your sexual energy. What would be some meditative thoughts about your sexual energy? And what's a word that could probably um, 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 reflect the meditative kind of thought process of sexual energy? What do you think? One of the words we could look at.
Sharing.
Okay. Okay. So
And
you meditate, have meditative thoughts of sharing in
hmm,
your sexual energy.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people would meditate on love, being love, and expressing love,
Mm-hmm.
and that extending to their partner.
How's that bear out? Does it bear out physically at all, or is it mostly something you just keep in your mind?
I it can it
Or can it be
to
both?
it I believe it is the way I would answer that question is it is both,
Mm-hmm.
but it is going to depend on how you expand on that meditation. If you keep the meditation to yourself and you just say, and this is what you're meditating on, being love. I got to love more.
Mm-hmm.
And you make it a personal thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to stay a personal thing with you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take it further to say, I'm meditating to communicate or to give love,
Mm-hmm.
then your focus goes outside of just you, and it takes you to the sense of caressing, of touching,
Yeah.
of
The
hugging.
affectionate side.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And it takes to doing things that show love, being caring and considerate, helpful, um, concerned. Those are all things that are part of giving love.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
from that standpoint, you have to take that meditation and put it into practice and take it just off
And
of you.
what is a meditative state in you? What does meditative state really entail outside the fact we can hear the word meditate in it? What do you think a meditative state is when we're using that when it comes to thoughts? Because it's a meditative thoughts.
Yes. Um, um, Meditative, I think it's different for different people,
Mm-hmm.
but from my
Yeah,
standpoint,
what would be a meditative thought
a
for you? That's in this case about your sexual energy.
yeah, a meditative thought would be a guiding force.
Mm-hmm.
It
Give
would
an example.
um, doing a mantra,
Mm-hmm.
and
What would you meditate on when it comes to your sexual energy?
um, for example, a mantra that I use
Mm-hmm.
often. I have several mantras that I use just depending on what's going on. but one that I have created. And
Mhm.
I especially created it back during a time when I was very closed and needed
Mhm.
to open.
Mhm.
Um, my mantra was,
Mhm.
I am love.
Mhm.
I create love.
Mhm.
I give love. I receive love.
Mhm. Say that again.
I am love.
Mhm.
I create love. I give love. I receive love. That is taking that in a full circle. It
Mhm.
becomes a cycle of love. Whereas I don't say, I am love and leave it at that.
Mhm.
It has to go out and come back and go out and come back
Mhm.
in order for it to be effective
Yeah, I
in a
remember. I
relationship.
remember when I gave you that particular mantra
Hmm.
to actually use as a meditative state.
Yeah.
I never thought about it moving into the sexual energy, even though your sexual energy is part of your life force,
Yes.
and you easily can move that force or that focus to be
Yeah.
exact to where you want it to, in the areas that you want it to.
Yeah.
I thought about another word that
Well,
we
hold on
use.
real
What's
quick
that?
before you say that. When you say you never thought about it moving into your sexual
Mm-hmm.
energy, one of the things that one of the reasons why I modified that
Mm-hmm.
mantra that you gave me just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
was because I felt that it is more than just for that one particular situation
Mm-hmm.
of um of sexual intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
That mantra was to open me
Mm-hmm.
up completely, to
Well, that's what
open
it was given to you for.
to
Was to
to
open up you
hmm
completely. It wasn't
yeah,
a focus on the sexual
yeah.
side.
And
It was what you just got through saying, where you modified it because you can modify it how you
hmm
want. Because part of being
yeah,
loving yourself is knowing that the different parts of
right,
you that express themselves.
right.
Your life force have different parts of you. We call
Hmm.
them portals again, because we're
Yes.
talking about of how you express yourself with
Hmm.
another particular individual in this case.
Yeah.
So you just took that mantra that's about that whole self, getting your whole self loved again, and all that's part of you,
Hmm.
and you just open up the portal or focused more in the area that had to do with your sensual side. And I think that's important because many of us may not think our sensual side, and that's the word I'm going to go to, by
Hmm.
the way. The sexual side
Yeah.
is a side that's important for us to love,
Yeah.
a side that's important for us to see as being loved
Yeah.
from a life force area, which
Hmm.
is what we're talking about.
Yes.
We look at it more as being just purely physical,
Right.
okay? Infatuated wise,
Hmm.
we talked about at the beginning how those who are in that oldest part of the business, that they pretty much have closed off that portal, focused it down to nothing but just a sexual act,
Hmm.
and no real life force is passed on. It's
Yes.
protected from coming in because they shut down their portal. And on the
Hmm.
other side, they make sure nothing comes out of them too
Yes.
at the same time. So we see that a lot in the relationships, surviving relationships, not thriving, balanced relationships, what we're trying to refer to. So you making a positive step to move it to a focus where it's more about your sexual area. And the word I was going to use this time is sensual.
Yeah.
And sensual is usually a word that's used to be a lot more expanding
Hmm.
in the area of sexual. Am I right? When we think
Yes.
about certain
Yes.
singers
Be-
or sensual and so on and so
yes,
forth.
because sexual is actually just in um one focus.
Mm-hmm.
Sensuality is more life encompassing than sexuality.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
encompasses mostly your whole physical form
Hmm.
instead of just the physical parts that
Yes.
actually are involved with the act
Right.
itself. Usually,
Right.
those who are sensual. Am I saying it correctly?
Sensual.
They
Yeah.
usually are connected to the whole body,
Hmm.
and like we find
Yeah.
out that your skin is an organ within itself.
Yeah.
All of your skin is really your largest organ
Hmm.
that protects all of your body. And I didn't know that till years ago, that our
Right.
skin was actually our an organ itself.
Right.
So
Right.
those who are sensual usually are very much in touch with their whole body.
Hmm.
And that sensualness is the fact that I'm very sensitive to all parts of my body outside of the fact of how I look. What do you think about that?
Yeah. And how do I feel about that? What do I think about it? I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely agree with that
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes a person is very sensual, but they're not very sexual.
Mm-hmm.
And people try to connect those two, but they're not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
connectable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can look at some people and it's just the way they hold their head
Mm-hmm.
or the way they, reach out and touch your hand or something like that.
They while you're talking to them, they're rubbing their legs
Yeah.
constantly. You're like, I'm talking about numbers that are in counting, and you're rubbing your legs. That's bothering me. No, but anyway,
Yeah.
things like that. When I hear they do times,
I know.
it is they're actually in a unconscious way
Yeah.
touching themselves so they can feel their own feedback because it feels good. It's a
And not
yeah.
only that, it feels good, but also sometimes it is controlling nervous energy. So we're talking about the
It's a calming effect in so many
yes,
words. So
yes.
it's another form of a hug and how powerful a hug is
Mhm.
to actually bring calminess to it. It can actually short circuit nervous thoughts
Mhm.
that are actually getting on your
Yes,
nerves,
yes.
and that comfort hug actually calms, squelch, almost makes them disappear. I know that they actually make hugging jackets that they put on. We're not like that, folks, but we're close to me. Animals who
Yes.
get nervous
Yeah.
around people or nervous around fireworks
Or
times.
nervous when they're alone.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
they put them around with a
Yeah.
hug and it makes them feel
Yeah.
comfortable. Yeah. Isn't that
Yeah.
something?
So, growing up
Mm-hmm. Give
rather
somebody a hug today, by the way.
yes.
Make sure it's your mate. Give them a hug. If not, ask them for a hug for you.
Yes. Growing up shy
Mm-hmm.
and not being comfortable
Mm-hmm.
around groups of people,
Mm-hmm.
finding myself always in groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
I found that I did that a lot. And no matter how hard I tried when I got into that nervous position,
Mm-hmm.
I would still do it. And a lot of the and I found out later as I got older that
Mm-hmm.
that was looked, as you said, as, some kind of sensual
Mm-hmm.
movement. And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to make it okay for me to be sitting here talking to you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I mean, so again, as we move on and we talk more about the exchange, sitting outside the box, looking outside the
Hmm.
box of your sexual relationship, understanding that you're actually exposing yourself to another human being, open up that portal in an area that is very much connected to all of who you are, really, when
Yes.
you think about it, because there's a lot of power. And I mean, there's some people who are in the God and Goddesses word where they look at sexuality to be the pinnacle of
Hmm.
who they are and what they can be. I mean, some people
Yes.
call it pussy power. You hear about that?
You
And
went there.
yeah, exactly. There's some men who probably say, "I'm gonna dictify you."
Lord
You've
Jesus.
been sprung. You've been sprung. And not dictaphone, dictified, but not dignified too at the same time.
Yeah.
And the way it goes, there's a power in that interaction. That's what
Yeah.
we're referring to. We talked about that before. Soul
Hmm.
ties and all that other stuff that comes along
Yes.
with that way of how we can connect and that portal being open. And the importance in a balanced relationship is to have these kind of thoughts so that we take it more in a cherishable, sacred way between us as human beings. Not make it just casual, not make it short, but knowing if long term's involved, we are going to be more involved as a being or as a human and as a person. And we should be very, very valiant, if you may want to say, about making sure that happens. So, what issues do you have about sex? What are some issues? And we don't have much time left, but we'll be going to the next time. What are some of the issues about sex today that is that we need to think about in our relationship wise? I'm not talking
Hmm.
outside the relationship that we may have. I'll give example. Maybe there is a issue about sex that has to do with some stereotypes that if my woman is too aggressive, no, I'll use a better word, too assertive when it comes to her
Mhm.
reaching out to me, whether it's intimately
Yes.
or no affectionately. I
Mhm.
might be uncomfortable with that. If you
Yeah.
touching me and me kissing on me, I really don't need all that.
Yeah.
Or affectionate when I'm coming to you more in an affectionate way, where more of my touchiness with my body, legs, and all that good stuff that's making more of a physical contact with you. And I'm like, oh man, that's bothering me. I mean, I ain't ready for this right now. I don't want to deal with it right now. That those are issues like that in the relationships. I'm not saying
Mhm.
that you would mind with me, no, but we know that there are some issues like that with males when it
Yeah.
comes to relationship. They might use the old stereotype: if she does that, she's being too fast.
Yes. Or the other thing is
Mm.
that it is an indication that somebody she's been learning from somebody else.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Well, especially if she doesn't do that in that relationship or that guy. Mostly, usually she's been on the woman's side, especially if she has not been doing that before in the relationship.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, meaning next couple of days or one day, she's doing something in that area that she's really never did before in
Mhm.
her life force seems to be so.
Yes.
You're like, something's not right here.
Yes.
I never triggered this before. Now this is going on. No.
And the thing of it is that's being kind of presumptuous because maybe you didn't trigger it then.
Then what triggered it now
The
by
desire
you?
to enhance the relationship
Mm, mm,
because sometimes one person thinks everything is going fine with the
mm-hmm,
relationship and the other one thinks this is as boring as watching paint dry.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
so there are books and things you can
mm-hmm.
read to help you.
There you go, son, better.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
To
I
help
want everybody to hear that.
that and there are books and things that you can read
Mm-hmm,
that would help you to get new methodologies and new techniques and things like that.
mm-hmm,
And it's not that you are going out with a girlfriend or another boyfriend or something like that.
mm-hmm,
It's just that you have been doing some research to try to step things up a bit,
mm-hmm.
and so it's not necessary. Your perception of how the relationship is going sexually may not be correct.
Okay. Well, we're about to, at the end of the show, we got a minute left. We're going to be talking more about the sexual exchange, the exchange of life force, your energy, and some ways how to think about it in a healthy, balanced way. No doubt about it, what you talked about is there. If in turn that does happen, that's when a bridge statement has to be coming in. And
Mhm.
that person who's initiated something that they haven't did before, whether it's in this area or any other area,
Yes.
it behooves you out of respect and love, using the hot principle, for you to present, hey, I'm in turn doing what you just got through saying,
Yes.
something I never did before, but I want to try this.
Yes.
Hopefully you'll be open so that then those other thoughts you talked about
Yeah.
won't be presented and won't be allowed to come in, because that other person could shut the portal down and
Yes.
think what you said, and then you just really are not doing yourself any
Or
justice.
even as a bridge statement, share the article.
Exactly. Well,
Yes.
this is the end of the show. Well, hopefully that you enjoyed what we talked about. Make sure you show up on the 24th at our event. We love you to be there, and all the other events, especially this weekend too with Jamal.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Ashe, God bless you. Until next
Next
time,
week. We'll
treat
see
your
you then.
relationship well. I guess we are still here. We're going to have to go out someplace. No, that ain't in it. I think there he is. Our engineer. We're ready to go, Mr. Engineer. I'll go.
Like this. like this. I like that.